All right, guys, we're back today with my good friend here, Tyler, and business associate. So it's been about maybe 3-4 months working together at Ty Project at this point. And we talked the other day, we had a serious discussion. They were like, I really enjoy working with you and we want to continue working together. And this is a venture that we're going to be doing for the foreseeable future together. So I'm just really excited to honestly work with you and collaborate with such a talented individual as yourself, an engineer, artisan, designer. But I'll let you introduce yourself. But again, appreciate the opportunity to work together, brother.
Absolutely, Tim.
Yeah, talk about what you're doing and what we're up to.
Awesome. Yeah, so Ty Project is my company. I actually graduated from Georgia Tech back in 2019, studied mechanical engineering, and I grew up in the shop. My dad makes wedding rings for a living, and I grew up kind of in that world, and from a young age learned how to use my hands to make physical products, and it just became a passion of mine. And back in 2022 is when I incorporated this business, and it started out kind of just mainly geared towards the cryptocurrency community, and we were just doing direct-to-consumer products like dog tags and medallions and keychains and things of the sort. And over time, we kind of expanded into B2B B2B, wholesale type situations, and it's been a really exciting journey. We've met a lot of incredible people along the way, and I'm really excited about kind of the capacity we have now. I think we're poised to scale, and we're about to really cook.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, it's really exciting being here. You can just feel the energy in the room, and I love working with founders that truly bet on themselves. At this point, I've worked with lots of founders, been in rooms with lots of different individuals who have great businesses. But Tyler really stands out in the way that he leads, the way that he showcases his intention with all the products that he creates. They're just so nicely packaged, and you can tell there's a lot of intention and put into everything he does. So I'm also not super, let's say, a technical engineer type of person. I love working with people who match and complement skill sets. Mm-hmm. So I think it's really fun. But yeah, dude, how's your week going?
It's been good. We've been doing a lot of volume lately for this particular group that we've been working with for the past couple of years. They come back every year with new sets of designs, and they have a design contest where a bunch of members of their community will contribute artwork that they create, and then it gets voted on in their community, and then the top 2 winners we turn into products in the store, and then they just drive traffic to our site on an affiliate basis. And so, just this morning had an order for 88 more of these dog tags. So kicked them out today, and they're done. These are some extra ones we have, but these are actually kind of the 2 different designs that we're doing for this group. But it really showcases what we're capable of at this point. We can rapidly produce items that are custom completely, tailored to any brand that we work with, and we can just rapidly iterate. So I think when it comes to future opportunities, like when it comes down to social listening and kind of seeing what is really popular or viral at the moment, we can just capture that, make a product within 30 minutes, launch it, and really just be there when the market's fresh.
Yeah, just for trade secrets, I'm going to whisper an idea I had to Tyler about agentic AI.
Market trigger agentic AI into automated designs.
Yeah. I think that could work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, we're cooking. So we're here today just kind of shooting the shits. I just like putting my friends on camera and talking to them, having conversations. So Tyler, how old are you?
29.
Oh, awesome. We talked to Roseman today. He's also 29. When are you turning 30?
April 19th.
Okay, so got basically a whole year.
Got some time. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm not quite.
So I asked one of my other friends today literally the same question, and he's turning 30 on Halloween. Asked him how he reflected on his 20s and if he could provide any advice to the younger generation.
Oh yeah.
Especially myself being in the mid 20s, kind of like figuring life out.
Yeah.
What kind of advice could you give to the younger generation, and then what kind of plans do you have for your 30s? I'd love to hear.
Absolutely. I think kind of just to sum up any advice that I might have for someone in their mid-20s is just that comparison is the thief of joy. It's really easy to look at people, on social media and compare to where they are in life in various ways and kind of think like, why am I not there? I've had many failed businesses in the past, and it seems like there are some people who just like get it. They launch a store and they make millions overnight, and at least that's what it seems like. It hardly ever is the case that happens, but it kind of sometimes is easy to feel like, well, why can't I replicate that type of success? And the truth is that building a successful business is one of the hardest things you could possibly do. It's honestly, how much pain can you stand? And Alex Hormozi actually had a really interesting, comment about this. And he's like, it's not the best man that wins in business, it's the last man standing. Like, that's really what it is. It's more of a comparison of like you versus you yesterday than it is about you versus your competition in reality, because it's a war of attrition. So if you are truly passionate about the business that you're running, if you choose to go down this route, which to be honest is not for everybody, and I'll, because I fully admit that. But if that is you and you want to go down and try to carve out your own destiny, just know that you have to choose something that you truly enjoy, because otherwise it's going to be hell every single day. I mean, why are you going to get out of bed in the morning just to suffer every single day? I'm truly passionate about the things that I do, to the point where it barely feels like work to me. Like when I'm in the shop and I'm making these products, I actually enjoy it. So if you can find something that you enjoy and you can make money from it, that's the ultimate win in life. And you don't have to be making millions, so long as you are covering your bills and you have a somewhat balanced life. I mean, to me, that's a huge win. So I'm really excited about kind of where I'm at now. And then going into my 30s, I think we've got the ultimate layup right now. I think there's so much opportunity right around the corner for this business. We have a lot of major clients knocking on our door right now. And I think that we're going to start to get some major headway. Some deals are already kind of about to lock in. So, we'll see. And then if and when those things happen, we've got plans for what we're going to do with that cash and that infusion. And, how are we going to scale this business? What kind of equipment are we going to invest in, et cetera? So I think we're in really good shape.
Awesome. Love to hear that. I mean, age is really just a number, but it is a mile marker as well. So, if you're doing it right, you should be, by your 30s, doing well. So happy to see you in your peak years and be working with you there. So when it comes to, let's say, technology and the things that we're working on with integrating tech into the fabric of the business, do you want to speak to that a little bit?
Of course. Yeah, I think it comes down to two things: software and then the machines and actual physical hardware that we have on the floor. We just invested in this massive piece of equipment that's actually right behind the camera right now. It's a UV printer, and that thing was almost $50,000. Actually, over that when you consider all the other things that we had to do. We had to move a machine out of here. We had to get furniture for it. So very large investment, most expensive thing I've ever bought in my life. I mean, it's like more than most cars. So it was a bit of a risk, but the throughput that we can have in this machine and the consistency of it, the amount of rejects that we have is virtually zero. So it really ups the quality, and it also makes our process much more efficient. So I think when we start to get into the wholesale type clientele, and they need 75+% margins on their products in order for them to sell at volume, we're in a position now that we can actually handle that. We can actually provide a made in America product that is very compelling, that the end user will really love, that they can get use out of. And the client that we have is going to come back again and again and again, because they're going to be making so much money from us. So I'm really excited about when that flywheel starts to come into effect. And then on top of that, we're starting to embed NFC chips into a lot of our product lines. And we're actually building out on the back end entire ecosystems that we can white label for businesses for networking purposes and other things. And you guys will be hearing a lot more about that in the near future. But I think that is it's a very compelling new offering that is going to add a lot of value to the wholesale clients that we have. And then the other angle to it's the software side. So we're using AI quite a bit in the business. I mean, helping, whether that's just with the design work or, helping to, I actually have coded in Python these scripts that will automatically create images and populate with text and various things based on CSV file inputs, and then populate them into fixtures for the printer so that it's virtually automated. So we can get a lot of custom, unique individual orders from direct consumers, and then just with a push of a button, generate hundreds of them, print them all at once. So that type of stuff I'm really trying to think through.
Let me translate for the audience a little bit. That was quite technical.
Sure.
So basically what we're saying is we have a surplus in operational capacity. So that means that we can handle a lot of demand. But now it's marketing's job, which is my job, to make sure that demand comes and we have people who want to buy our products, both on the business to business front and the business to consumer front.
Yeah.
So we've been doing a lot of different campaigns. Today we just wrapped up a firework campaign for 4th of July. How'd you feel about that?
That was great. I didn't know necessarily what to expect. I was a little bit nervous about shooting off fireworks in the industrial park here.
Yeah.
But it worked beautifully. The arc plate
we did 4 fireworks and it's still indestructible.
Yeah, that arc plate really held its own big time. So really happy with it, and I'm curious to see how it turns out.
Yeah, awesome. What else, bro? What else is new?
Really, I think the name of the game's automation right now, and just kind of making sure every process that we have in-house is as dialed in as it can be before we need to make that first hire. So I absolutely plan on hiring, but to me, it's like it's a wasted opportunity if I'm just handing off work that has a ton of waste embedded in it to somebody else. Because yes, I'm not the one doing it anymore, but I'm also handing off a process that could be much, much leaner. And I think that the quality of work for our employee when they do come in the door is going to be much higher when they have a lot more responsibility because they can do more. And so then we can be a lot more competitive in pay, et cetera. So I'm already thinking down those lines. I'm really excited when that day comes, and I think there might be some opportunities through grants, through local universities and stuff, so we'll see. But it's right now that's kind of the focus, but we've been getting a good bit of demand coming in the door for just dog tag. I think we sold almost 800 of these things in the last week and a half. So it's like
the Shopify ticker has been crazy.
Yeah, no discounts on anything either. So
awesome.
It's been really exciting, and we'll kind of see how the rest of this campaign builds out. And we've got some others cooking right now, too.
So let's zoom out into visionary land, and I know that we have lots of talks about where we want to head in the future. Let's think in 5-year increments as as decade increments, right? So what is the vision for Ty Project, and how do you foresee us as a company going
it's exciting.
towards the future?
It's exciting. I think, first of all, we're starting to already see the promise of the printer that I had mentioned earlier coming through, and just the throughput of one of those machines. It's going to take a lot of demand for that to be filled up all day. But if and when we get to that point, it'll be very easy to just make that a modular system. You get another printer, you put it on the floor. We have room for 3 more of these machines in the shop right now. So imagine the capacity of 4 of those going. So I think we could hit that. We could get 3 more of those machines within the next 2 years. Mm-hmm. I firmly believe that. And by 5 years, 5 years is honestly a long time.
It is, especially in this world.
With how fast things are moving. Yeah. I think within 2 years, we could be starting to produce automotive parts. We're getting, I already know who's getting involved with the company that is going to kind of head up that department and everything. I really am excited about that, but ultimately we would want to get into aerospace machining, medical machining. And I think that's going to be the name of the game. Get consistent contracts in the door.
You said aerospace?
Yeah, aerospace. Yeah.
Yeah. So guys, when you see me helping build a rocket, you'll already know.
Yeah, we're in a different world at that point. Yeah.
So,
but we start out with dog tags and keychains and
humble beginnings,
right.
Dog tags to rockets.
But it's funny because from day one, we were working with aerospace grade titanium, and to come full circle and actually use that same material to build a SpaceX part, would just be surreal. So I think, there's so much opportunity in a lot of these fields, and I know that there's a huge push for manufacturing to come back onshore. So I think that if we just need to move fast, we need to get things really going, get demand and cash flow really taken care of, and then we'll have resources to actually take advantage of these opportunities that are here right now. I mean, there's
excellent.
so much of it.
All right, well, we'll close this transmission off with some rapid fire questions.
Okay.
Cool?
Yeah.
So let's try to hit them relatively quickly. How important is money to you?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think money's a tool. It's something that it really is. It's kind of like energy, and the more you have, the more opportunities that you can execute on. I used to have my life revolve around it, to be honest with you. It was something that I was actually chasing. It was the end goal. But to me now, after having all these failed businesses and because of that, in my opinion, I think that was really the reason ultimately why I failed, was because the money was all it was about. Mm-hmm. So again, at this point, I'm actually truly passionate about the work itself. And when you're passionate about the work itself,
the money will come.
The money will come. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, perfect.
And so that's how I see it.
Awesome. Are you a speciesist?
Speciesist.
I don't know if you heard the conversation with, I think it was Sergey and Elon.
Oh.
And are you
pro-human?
Are you pro-human or?
Yeah, definitely pro-human.
Okay.
I think.
And this is why we're working together.
I'm a little bit worried.
Let's go, humanity. We're on your side.
Yeah, Neuralink and some of these other things coming down the pipe.
Would you ever get Neuralink?
No.
Got it.
No.
Let's see. Let's try to think about a good question here.
Yeah.
What role does faith play in your life?
Very high. I'm a Christian, and it's a huge part of my life. And I think that applying that to business in every way that you possibly can only help you. What more is there to say?
No, it's beautiful. What do you think about the state of the world?
Yeah, we're a little cooked. I think that there are a lot of powder kegs all kind of at the same time. There's just a huge minefield that we're walking through geopolitically. Not to get into specifics, but it's a very tough field to navigate through. And so for me, I could get caught up in that stuff all day, obviously, but I just keep myself sane by, focusing on the things that I can control. That's really all I can do. I try to stay informed to the extent that I can, but I think I just have a responsibility to grow this business, provide for my family, and,
respect.
Whatever happens, happens.
What do you think about Gen Z?
I think Gen Z is based, man. I'm excited.
I'm a Gen Z elder, so.
Yeah. I think I'm like at the very. I'm like the youngest millennial, so I'm like. Right,
you're cusp.
I'm right
Gen
there.
Z
I don't know, but anyway, I'm liking what I'm seeing through Gen Z, and I think that I think you guys get a bad rap from the older generation of you guys don't have any motivation to work and all this kind of stuff, but really the system has failed us. And the 9-to-5 kind of, white picket fence, all that type, American dream, it's totally dead. The money's been inflated away. There's just systemic issues that really make it almost impossible for the younger generation like us to, be able to have a regular job, single income, and raise a family and buy a house. It's just not a thing. So, we have to come up with creative ways to break out and create our own destinies. And that's what I'm doing. And that's what I know you're doing too. So I just see a lot more of that happening. I think that we kind of are rejecting the kind of funnel that we are all put into with the schooling system and everything else of just go to the 4-year college, get a job, die. We're kind of I don't really want that. That doesn't sound fun. So to me, like I said, we get a bad rap, but we're doing our best, we're just living our lives.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Tyler, for your time, and looking forward to growing the business with you.
Absolutely, man.
All right, guys. Until next time.